Let's rock and roll. Before we proceed, I would like to turn over the meeting to a student who will receive tonight's President's Award. Please welcome to the dais, Harley Villalobos.
Thank you and good evening. My name is Harley Villalobos, and I am the senior at the Young Women's Leadership Academy. It is my honor to call this meeting to order. Thank you.
She's coming. Good evening and welcome to the Ysleta Independent School District Board of Trustees meeting in accordance to the YSD that this meeting is open to the public and we invite citizens to offer comments during the designated citizens input portion of the agenda. Please note that the board will listen to all input, but is legally restricted from discussing or deliberating the matter present during this time. This meeting of the Board of Trustees is called to order at 6:03. We have a quorum with Trustee Hernandez, with Trustee Haggerty, with Trustee Woodruff, with Trustee Ochoa, with Trustee Dwyer, and myself, Trustee Bustillos. It has become tradition to honor our nation at each of our board meetings by presenting the colors, reciting the Pledge of Allegiance, and then posting the colors. The colors tonight are being presented by the Junior ROTC Color Guard from Del Valle High School. Color Guard Commander is Nathan Morales. The other Color Guard members are Ariana Facelli, Emilio Segura, and Danica Roper. The pledge leader is Danelli Dimas, cadet. Will you please stand for the presentation of colors and the reciting of the Pledge of Allegiance, the Texas State Pledge of Allegiance, and a moment of silence. Please remain standing until the cadets have departed.
Attention. Carry. Arms. Forward. Up. 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 Right. 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 Up. 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 Mark down. Mark. Color guard. Up. Up. Face. Face. Set. Colors.
Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And now, please join me in the pledge to the Texas flag. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Please join me in a moment of silence. Thank you.
Order. Arms. Post. Colors. Up. 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 Right. 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 Up. Color guard. Up. Raise and arms. Order.
Okay. Now on to the fun part. Swearing in elected appointed for District 7. On December 10th, 2025, the Ysleta Independent School District Board of Trustees met in closed session to conduct interviews for appointment of a single member, District 7. As a result of all the candidates running, Mr. Henry Rivera was selected to represent the District 7, Del Valle area, until next trustee election on May of 2027. Accordingly, candidate Henry Rivera is hereby declared duly appointed and will now be sworn in. Family and group pictures will be taken during the recess after the swearing in. Dr. De La Torre.
Good evening, President Bustillos, members of the board, and esteemed guests. We ask Mr. Henry Rivera to please come to the podium to be sworn in, and then you may take your seat until the recess for your photographs.
Read your statement of officer first, and then you can swear or affirm. Do you solemnly, raise your right hand, I'm sorry. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that you have not directly or indirectly paid, offered, promised to pay, contributed, or promised to contribute any money or thing of value, or promised any public office or employment for the giving or withholding of a vote at the election at which you were elected, or as a reward to secure your appointment or confirmation, whichever the case may be, so help you God?
I swear.
And now for the oath of office. In the name and by the authority of the state of Texas, do you solemnly swear or affirm that you will faithfully execute the duties of the Area District 7 Board of Trustees for Ysleta Independent School District of the state of Texas, and will, to the best of your ability, preserve, protect, defend the Constitution and laws of the United States and of this state, so help you God?
I swear.
Thank you and congratulations.
Thank you. Welcome and congratulations, Mr. Rivera. For congratulatory pictures, we'll call a short, brief 10-minute break. Yeah.
We reconvene at 6:18. Let's see. I would like to allow the trustees to say a few words to welcome our new member, Trustee Rivera. Anybody want to say a few words for trustee?
Well, today's a big day for the Del Valle area. I think it's been a while since we've had somebody in place. We miss Catherine a lot, but she put in her years, and now we have a very good representative for the Del Valle area, and I welcome Mr. Henry Rivera to this board. I think we have a lot of work to do, but we'll all do it together like we always do. So welcome, Henry.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Yes. I am delighted to extend a warm welcome to Mr. Rivera as our newest member of the board. As a board member, you will play a crucial role in shaping the future of the board and ensuring long-term success. I'm very happy for the entire Del Valle community because I know you will do an outstanding job for everybody involved in the Del Valle area. Thank you for accepting our invitation to be on the board, and I know it's going to be wonderful having you on the board, Mr. Rivera.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Mr. Rivera, I remember when I started campaigning 9 years ago, we both met at, it was a Carolina Center. Yeah, and we had a really good conversation. I know you were new at politics going into it, and so was I. But I just want to say thank you for the words you gave me and the wisdom, and I know that deep down your heart always led you to do the right thing and the right way to do things. And that's kind of the way I felt like I've done it. It's really good for Del Valle to finally get some representation, and I'm looking forward to working with you and this board that we have right now. We have a really good board. We all work together, and we're really looking to see what you bring to the table, and we know what you bring to the table. So looking forward to that, sir. So congratulations to Del Valle. You got your board member now. You got some representation. I'm really happy for them and the kids, especially the kids. So thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
So I feel like I've known you for quite some time, and pardon me. Usually, talking to you came from a different venue, basically, but I think you're going to really enjoy working with us, and I know you're going to bring a lot to the table for us to help us in ways that we don't even know yet. And so, just welcome to the board, and I look forward to a great adventure together.
Thank you, Ms. Woodruff.
I think I kind of echo everyone's sentiments that I'm looking forward to what you would bring to the table as far as your experience, your knowledge, your network that you've built, the integrity that you brought to your past positions, coming here now to Ysleta. It's going to get kicked up a notch now, but the one thing I ask is when the tough decisions come up, that you look over to the people on your left and you remember who it's about. And as long as you do that, I think you're going to make the right decisions. And I'm looking forward to working with you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Haggerty.
Mr. Rivera, I'm very excited because I'm no longer the newest member of the school board. So thank you for coming on board. The El Paso city government's been something I've always paid attention to for a long time. So I followed your career with the city of El Paso. I appreciate your work. I know you have a lot of experience. I know as a former police officer, you also bring a unique perspective that's very important to us. Safety is our #1 concern when it comes to our students. And like Mr. Haggerty said, it's all about the kids, and that's where our decisions start. You're welcome to reach out to me, or I'm sure any of us at any time. I'm happy to to discuss, any issues. I look forward to working together. I think from our interviews, I noticed you have some unique ideas too that I think I can get on board with. So I'm excited about that. So welcome to the board, and I look forward to working with you.
Thank you, Mr. Thank-
Mr. Rivera, would you like to say anything?
Well, thank you all for those kind words, but I should be telling you this. It's a pleasure to be up here. It's something what I look forward to. Began with the application, to the interview, to the selection. I'm so proud that you all had the confidence in me to select me as an appointee for this position. And I knew that I was going to be in the right place. You all have mentioned the fact that I'm representing Del Valle. They can be assured that they're going to see me out there just like they used to see the previous Board of Trustees, I'm sorry, Ms. Lucero. It's all about, like you said, the kids. And that's the main purpose we're here for. This is one of the best boards from what I understand, throughout most of Texas. I'll say throughout the state of Texas, because you all come to the conclusions in a civil way, in a smart way, and what's best for the children. And we have a great staff. I'm pro-staff as well. And so I was here that meeting that night. I learned quite a bit and picked up how there were so many similarities between the district and the city. And so I look forward to doing that. And finally, from the dais, I will say I'd love to thank my wife, Dora, for her unconditional love and support, my children, my family that are here and watching through the YouTube from another city, that they're here for my daughter-in-law's a teacher. Well, we'll just say we hope to sway her over to the YISD here shortly. So thank y'all very much. I really appreciate it. And okay, let's get to work.
Thank you.
Mr. De La Torre, we've met, we've also worked through city and school district projects together. It's an honor to be here working as well. So like I said, let's get to work.
Thank you. Welcome. Welcome, Mr. Rivera. Number 2 on the Board President report is the 2022-2023 Board Operating Procedure. Please take a look at your Board Operating Procedures, which are created to help us stay on track and respect the time and trustees and constituents. I'd like for you to please turn to page 2 of 17. 1A, placing items on agenda, which requires us to have at least 2 trustees to add an item on the agenda. Next, also I would, also on page 6 of 17, item number 2, point 4, time limits and discussion of the day. I would like to designate Ms. Mathewson as a timekeeper, allowing each trustee 2 rounds discussion, 3 minutes each. The 3rd round of discussion on any agenda item will require board motion and majority vote. Thank you. Dr. De La Torre, do we have recognitions and introductions this evening?
Good evening, President Bustillos, members of the board, all esteemed guests gathered. Yes, we do. I'd ask our Chief Human Capital Management Officer, Mrs. Bobby Russell Garcia, to lead in our recognitions and introductions this evening.
Good evening, Mr. President, members of the board, Superintendent Dr. De La Torre. We have 6 recognitions for you this evening. At this time, we ask all trustees to please come to the front of the dais. Audience members, please remain seated until all recognitions are complete. Thank you. Our first recognition honors Young Women's Leadership Academy senior Harley Villalobos, who exemplifies outstanding service excellence through her leadership, vision, and dedication to her school community. As an officer of the National Honor Society, she spearheaded the creation of a campus thrift store called My Sister's Closet, which is stocked through campus and community clothing drives. Harley built partnerships with the Neighborhood Association and the PTSO, inviting donations and arranging for students to purchase items with their cash or card. And within 3 days of opening in January, the store reached nearly $300 in sales. Harley leads a dedicated team of fellow Honor Society members who run the store, and she hopes to expand the store's offerings to alumni and the community. Her generosity and forward-thinking spirit truly embody outstanding service excellence, and we are proud to recognize her efforts with the February 2026 President's Award. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome from the Young Women's Leadership Academy, Senior Harley Villalobos. She is accompanied by teacher Lucia Bocher and principal Melinda Villalobos. Let's hear it for the Transformers. Our next recognition honors high school students who won a coveted spot on this year's All-State Dance Team for the Texas Dance Educators Association. At their convention experience last month, All-State dancers participated in workshops, leadership training, master classes, and networking with other students, culminating in a stellar performance led by master choreographer Claire Rogers-Lewis. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome this year's All-State Dance Team members, beginning with Bel Air High School student Nicole Natera. She is accompanied by teacher Suzanne Paz and principal James McIntyre. Congratulations to the Highlanders. Our next dancer comes from Del Valle High School. Please welcome Dallas Esparza. He's accompanied by teacher Gloria Tovar and principal Valerie Hairston. Let's hear for the Conquistadores. From Eastwood High School, please welcome our next dancer, Annalise Carrera. She is accompanied by teacher Amanda Magaña and principal Rob Robledo. Congratulations to the troopers. Next, let's welcome Hanks High School dancer, Zeta Ramirez. She is accompanied by teacher Crystal Nazario and principal Daniel Gutierrez. Let's hear it for the Knights. Our next dancer being honored tonight comes from Parkland High School. Please welcome Alyssa Gutierrez. She is accompanied by teacher Alyssa Aranda and principal Javier Salgado. Congratulations to the Matadors. From Riverside High School, please help me welcome our next dancer, Victoria Carrillo. She is accompanied by teacher Olga Jordan and principal Victor Lara. A big round of applause for the Rangers. Next, from the Young Women's Leadership Academy, we have Rain Silva. She is accompanied by teacher Cristina Segovia and principal Melinda Villalobos. Let's hear it for the Transformers. And our final outstanding dancer this evening comes to us from Ysleta High School. Please welcome Ariel Sanchez. She is accompanied by teacher Corina Valdez and principal Amelia Garcia. Congratulations to the Indians. Our next recognition honors an exceptional student-teacher team from the Eastwood Learning Community, selected as one of only 15 nationwide to participate in the prestigious Albert H. Small Normandy Institute through George Washington University. Representing not only Texas, but the entire Southwest, the team of Eastwood High School student Danity Martinez and Eastwood Knolls International School teacher Paula Perales will spend the spring studying the Normandy campaign of World War II before traveling this summer to Washington, D.C. and France. There, they will honor a fallen U.S. soldier from our area at the Normandy American Cemetery and visit historic sites including Omaha Beach and the U.S. National Archives. We're incredibly proud of their remarkable achievement in this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to bring history to life. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me congratulate this year's Normandy Institute participants from Eastwood High School, sophomore Danity Martinez. And from Eastwood Knolls International School, teacher Paula Perales. They are accompanied by their principals, Rob Robledo and Chris Buga. Let's hear it for the Troopers and Dragons. Our fourth recognition celebrates the outstanding talents of our high school musicians from 6 high schools who earned coveted spots on this year's All-State Choir, Band, or Orchestra ensembles, the highest honor a Texas music student can receive. Selected from a pool of more than 70,000 talented vocalists and musicians across the state, these students rose to the top and performed alongside Texas's finest at the Texas Music Educators Association Convention in San Antonio. Ladies and gentlemen, please help us in congratulating our exceptional student musicians, beginning with Del Valle High School. Winning spots in the 5A All-State Symphonic Band Ensemble are Gianna Colon, and Santiago Boroel. They are accompanied by Assistant Band Director Sean Morales and Principal Valerie Hairston. Let's hear it for the Conquistadores. Earning a spot in the 6A All-State Concert Band from Eastwood High School, please welcome horn player Jordan Brown. Accompanying Jordan is band director Benjamin Perez and principal Rob Robledo. Congratulations to the troopers. From Parkland High School, please help me congratulate tenor bass choir vocalist Julius Soto. Tenor bass choir vocalist Zachary Frescas. And treble choir soprano Yumuriel Ibarra. They are accompanied by choir teacher Yunmi Garza and principal Javier Salgado. Congratulations to the Matadors. Next, from the Young Women's Leadership Academy, please welcome Philharmonic Orchestra-based musician Kira Smith. She is accompanied by Principal Melinda Villalobos. Let's hear it again for the Transformers. And our final set of students who won spots in the 4A All-State Symphonic Band from Ysleta High School, please welcome trombone player Dylan Hidalgo. And percussionist Anthony Aranda Tarango. They are accompanied by band director Daniel Kalunga and principal Amelia Garcia. Congratulations to the Indians. Our next recognition celebrates Ysleta High School student Dalia Ornelas, who advanced to the UIL Student Congress state competition after placing first at regionals, and was one of only 20 students statewide to reach the final round. The rigorous Student Congress competition models the work of the U.S. Congress, with students being tasked with drafting legislation and delivering speeches. Dalia remains one of only 2 students in Ysleta ISD history to reach the final round at state, which took place last month at the Texas State Capitol building in Austin. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a big round of applause to our Student Congress state finalist from Ysleta High School, senior Dalia Ornelas. She is accompanied by teacher Michael Toon and principal Amelia Garcia. Let's hear it for the Indians. Our final recognition this evening welcomes our newest member of the Board of Trustees, our Del Valle Area Representative, Mr. Henry Rivera. Trustee Rivera, will you please step forward? Trustee Rivera is a respected community leader who devoted 35 years to the El Paso Police Department, 2 terms on City Council, and previously worked right here in Ysleta ISD as a school resource officer. Mr. Rivera, we are grateful for your lifelong commitment to public service, and it is both an honor and a pleasure to welcome you to our district. To help mark this occasion, Del Valle High School Senior and Student Council President Sofia Cuomo would like to present you with a beautiful gift basket on behalf of the Conquistador community. Welcome, Trustee Rivera, and as they proudly say in the Del Valle community, one family, one destiny. This concludes our recognitions for this evening. Thank you.
That's right.
All right. Trustee Woodruff, do we have any citizens input this evening?
No, we do not.
Thank you. Dr. De La Torre, do we have any presentations this evening?
Yes, President Bustillos, members of the board, we have 2 presentations. We'll begin with a presentation on financial stabilization plan and our 26-27 budget development presentation by Ms. Camburn, our Chief Finance and Operations Officer.
Thank you.
Good evening, President Bustillos, members of the board, and Dr. De La Torre. As Dr. De La Torre mentioned, I have our second quarter update on the financial stabilization plan, as well as a brief overview of the 26-27 budget development process. As you may recall, our ending fund balance on June 30th, 2024 was $78.3 million. At the end of last fiscal year, it had declined to $42.1 million, and with the adopted budget deficit of $22.2 million, we would anticipate that at the end of this fiscal year, our fund balance would drop to just below $20 million. Since we adopted the budget, we've had some other factors influencing this year's activities. The first we've already talked about. I mentioned to you that we budgeted for a loss of 1,000 students, but in actuality, we experienced a loss of 1,400. That caused a decrease in revenue of an additional $4 million. On the flip side, though, we've had good news with our property tax collections, experiencing a $3.9 million increase in that revenue stream. Moreover, we have, as we told you, monitored every single expenditure, reducing the planned expenditures by $5.1 million through December 31st of this fiscal year. So our projected fund balance for June 30th, 2026, instead of being slightly less than 20, we're projecting now will be almost 25 million. I talked to you before about some of the measures we've implemented to control expenditures because obviously we don't want a deficit of 22.2 and a use of savings to that extent. So every single expenditure is being reviewed to determine, does it meet our mission? Is it critical that we spend that money this year to accomplish our goals? We've limited traveling, we've stopped all stockpiling, no excess supplies at the schools, we lowered the P-card limit, we're refurbishing technology, putting it back in service, we implemented the solar program, and I think probably most importantly is the last bullet, that every single retirement or resignation, that position is being looked at carefully to determine is it absolutely necessary that we fill it. As a result, you can see that on December 31st, 6 months into our fiscal year, which would generate a 50% limit, we would expect that we've spent 50% of our budget by the time we get to the end of December. But down in the bottom right-hand corner, you can see that actually we're at 47.54% of our anticipated expenditures. Now, while 2.5% may not seem like much, when you take that and multiply it times the adopted budget, it's about $10.2 million under our projected expenditures. Now, a moment ago, I told you 5.1 million is where we were in savings, and now I'm showing you that as of December, we were under by 10. I'm comfortable saying I can save 5.1 today, but we have seasonal expenditures coming. We still have our hot months ahead of us. We have spring sports, competitions, and we know that utilities are increasing because you've seen the rate cases before City Council and the Public Utility Commission. So for now, I believe that you can safely say we'll save $5 million. We'll bring that deficit from 22 down to 17. Our goal is to actually get it somewhere between 12 and 17. So with regard to our budget development timeline, obviously I'm here before you this evening giving you our second quarter update on financial stabilization. We're going to talk just a little bit about the district's goals and the context by which or under which we develop a budget. In March, we'll come back and talk about projected enrollment and historical enrollment, how that drives revenue and what we can expect to see for our revenue trends next year. In April, we'll come back with not only staffing projections, but also expenditure projections. By May, we'll actually have a recommended budget to bring to you for review. We'll talk then about the cost-saving measures that have been included in that budget. And at that time, you could adopt, but by June 30th, we must adopt a budget because our fiscal year begins on July 1st. Keep in mind that tax rate adoption and budget adoption are two separate mechanisms. We adopt the budget, as I said, no later than June 30th for a July 1 effective date, but the tax rate is set by property tax values or is based on property tax values. El Paso Central Appraisal District is required by law to give us preliminary values in April. We use those preliminary values to measure what we think property tax collections will be, but not until July 25th do we receive final certified values. That's fully a month after we adopt our budget. So the tax rate is set after we receive those certified values. We work with the state at that time to determine what our maximum compressed rate is. We combine that with the interest and sinking fund rate or the debt service rate for a total tax rate that we bring to you in August for a public hearing and approval by this board. So when we talk about what are the constraints and what are the guiding principles for the development of this year's budget, you recently adopted the 2030 Strategic Action Plan. And goal number 1 is about our future. It's about our students. And one of the mandates you've provided, and Dr. De La Torre has emphasized throughout last year's budget process and this year, and I expect next year's as well, is that it cannot affect the student experience. And I think you've seen a great representation this evening through the honors and recognitions that they are performing academically and through their extracurricular and co-curricular activities. They demonstrated that in every single aspect this evening. So we are committed to not impacting the student experience. There are 12 areas that we are focusing on with regard to our future and our students to ensure that they are academically prepared for either the college, a career, or the military. The second strategic goal revolves around our people, our most important and valuable commodity. It has 8 focus areas. Obviously, compensation and retention are 2 areas inside this goal, but we also talk a lot about and want to ensure we engage our stakeholders and that we measure our satisfaction by their standards. So parents, teachers, employees all have a say in how well we're performing and whether we're meeting their needs and emphasizing our commitment to employees. And then finally, goal 3 is about maintaining or implementing this financial stabilization plan with fidelity, ensuring it through our first rating and our bond ratings that we have completed that goal, and then also ensuring that we have safe and secure facilities for both children and staff. And with that, I can take any questions you might have.
Any questions? Trustee Hernandez?
Thank you, Ms. Lindley, for that presentation. Can we go back to the first? Our unassigned fund balance is currently,
So at the end of fiscal year 25, which is when you measure it, is at the end of the fiscal year because it will fluctuate throughout the year. So we captured on our financial statements, at the end of 2025, it was 42.1 million.
and the projected deficit is still 22.2 million?
No, now
Okay.
it's projected to be 17.
Now it's projected, okay, that was the 5 million that you
Yes,
say
sir.
were saved. Excellent. So at the end of the last budget session, the last budget that was adopted, we've been talking about a 2-year plan.
3 years, actually, but yes, 2 years, we're going to make the most concerted effort to deal with it in 2, but I think it will drag into 3.
Okay, that's the first time I'm hearing 3 years. Yeah.
Okay?
If I'm wrong, I'll happily correct that. But this is why we have continuous updates, so that, because obviously things are going to change, but now we're projecting a 3-year plan. Has anything happened where you think within the next 2 to 3 years that the unassigned fund balance will be completely depleted?
No, I believe we can stop that. So if this plan, if the adopted budget, which is a plan, had come to fruition, we would have used 22.2 million of what's remaining of the 42, putting us just under 20 million. I'm already saying that no, with the 5.1 million we've saved in expenditures, and I believe that's conservative, now we will be at 24.9 million in fund balance instead of under 20. So we're making progress towards preserving that fund balance even now, in spite of a $22.2 million budgeted deficit.
Will anything drastic have to happen to ensure that we keep our head above water, so to speak? For example, closing of campuses?
So I don't have any campuses that I plan to recommend for closure at this time. We've talked about some that are not completely occupied, but I think we are not below what we usually use as a threshold, which is 50%. So occupancy still remains above 50%, and as such, we continue to operate those campuses.
Fantastic, that's good to hear. Should the situation change, would you be notifying the board immediately about?
Absolutely. So I anticipate when I bring you back a recommended budget in May, if there were any changes in that plan, they would be expressed at that time.
It was a lot of information very quickly, at least for me. I'm a little slow. But was there anything that you especially wanted the public to know, to highlight?
So I think with this reduction in spending, again, as I mentioned, it's very conservative at 5.1 million.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
anticipate actually it'll be closer to 2.5% of the 420 million. My goal is to get between 12 and 17 million as the deficit, not the 22.2. And I think we are already at the 17.
Yeah, you've done fantastic work. I want to thank you. 5 million is great. It looks like we're doing good. I know it's extremely challenging. My questions are just to bring transparency to the public, but I believe you're doing a fantastic job given the
Well, I
situation.
can't take the credit. There's a huge team.
Yes, ma'am.
that's-
I know you have a team behind you. To you and your team, thank you for everybody working on this.
Of course.
Anybody else? No. I'd just like to say thank you. I know I sit out at basketball games, talk to teachers and administrators, and it does take a village to get this done. And I want to thank you and your team and this entire YSD, even our parents. They understand. They understand what we're going through. They believe in it. And I do believe that we're going to get out of this. So thank you so much for all your efforts and your hard work.
Thank you, sir.
The second item is the internal audit with Amy. I don't know why I thought she was coming up. And no, please.
You're up, Amy.
Thank you. Good evening, Dr. De La Torre, members of the board. I'm happy to present my quarterly internal audit update tonight. Today's presentation will include an overview of our 2025 audit plan year. Our audit plan follows a calendar year. We'll go over 2025 as well as present the 2026 proposed audit plan. In 2025, our goal was to complete audits of all campuses. The audits covered special education compliance, documentation compliance, and cash handling. We completed 40 campus audits. 7 audits are currently in progress. They're substantially done, just pending report issuance. In 2025, we also completed 1 non-campus audit, and there are 2 non-campus audits in progress. We'll have the details later in the presentation. We also had a couple of unplanned projects come up. 1 has been completed, 1 is in progress pending report issuance. Also in 2025, we completed some audits that had begun in 2024, which were carry forwards, and we also completed follow-up reviews of the 2024 audits. We completed 22 follow-up reviews. 9 of those were considered fully implemented, 13 were partially implemented. Now, all of these will be continued to be audited with our campus audits. 2024 carry forwards, we completed 9 campus audits and 1 non-campus audit. This is a summary of the follow-ups. Now, this was on audits that were done in 2024, and we followed up in the 2025 calendar year. This is a summary of the 2024 carry forward audits that we completed. So these were begun in 2024 and concluded in 2025. Now, the next 4 slides are going to be a summary of the 2025 campus audits that we've done. So 2025 included a review of special education documentation compliance as well as cash management. I won't go through every single one of these, but I do want to draw attention. The order of these is according to when we started the audit. So the later ones are the more recent audits. So I just want to point out a trend for the first column, the special education documentation compliance. It is trending positive now. We are getting campuses with where we're having no findings as well as low findings. And on the right, cash management seems to be getting under control. Throughout the year, cash management has actually been pretty good. We did complete 3 non-campus audits. The 3 are listed here. I do want to point out the second one, EMP Center, where there were a few high-risk observations presented. We have continued to follow up on that and monitor it closely, and all issues have been addressed. In 2025 hotline review, we received 19 calls throughout the year. 5 of these were personnel related, 14 were reviewed by our office, 1 did result in an audit report, and we continue to review the other ones, which will be resolved this year. This is an overview. The next 2 slides are an overview of the 2025 audit plan. As you can see, most of our audits were related to the campuses. This is the status of the 2025 projects. The campus-related, substantially all campuses were reviewed. The non-campus, we've either carried forward the projects, they are in progress, or will be rescheduled for a later date. This is an overview of the findings risk summary. So in every single one of our audit reports, we have this chart. We categorize our observations in these 4 different categories: low, medium, high, and priority. As you saw in the previous slides, most of the findings are low or medium. Occasionally, we do have high, and we have not had any priority, the highest risk level. And now for our 2026 audit plan. This is our proposed audit plan. Later in the evening, one of your action items, we are requesting approval of the 2026 audit plan. Our categories for audits are separated into campus-related, non-campus, carryovers from audits that we started in 2025, some follow-up reviews that will need to be done, as well as annual audits such as inventory and hotline reviews. And this is the detail of the proposed projects. On your left would be the new projects. On the right are carryovers, as well as annual and the follow-up reviews that we'll need to do. And again, this you have this as a handout also in your packets. Any questions?
Mr. Bustillos, I have one.
Yes, Ms. Woodruff.
Do you want to go first?
It was just a question, for my understanding. What's a non-campus, an example of a non-campus audit?
It would be, so we have listed here federal and state programs. It's more district-wide and not campus-specific.
Okay.
Ms. Woodruff?
So, in looking at the past audit reports that you've issued and the number of medium risk, it sounds pretty, it's not bad, it sounds good. I'm just wondering if that is actually pretty significant. Should it be actually, that we're getting more low to none or no findings? And just, because medium doesn't sound bad, but, and what are you recommending that the campuses do to try and fix that?
We have considered that. We do look at it. We have looked at it on a district-wide basis. You may wonder, well, if it's medium for everyone, does it elevate the risk higher? On that note, we are in continuous communications, for example, with SPED, with the SPED department. We point out to them patterns that we see, certain misunderstandings from campuses on how they're coding, how they're interpreting some of the guidance they've been given. So we've been able to work successfully with the SPED department on resolving that. And in the later audits of 2025, which were the scope is the current school year, we are seeing considerable improvements. So had we not seen those improvements, had we still continued to see a pattern of high errors, then we would elevate it higher. Yes.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Mr. Hernandez?
Thank you, Ms. Sanchez, for this presentation. I have a question, maybe a couple of questions about what we're being asked to approve tonight on the action item. Go ahead.
This is basically what you're being asked to approve.
I'll be honest, I really don't. What would be our options in approving this option? Is it a distribution of project hours?
Or different projects?
Okay. So this is your request on the hours that you need to do these projects?
Not the hours that we need, but where we spend the hours. The hours are what is available to us. It's based on how many people I have on staff, how many hours in a day, taking out any holidays or anything like that. The hours in total are pretty much set, but how we spend that time is what you would agree or not on.
So it's not going to have an effect on the dollar amount with our
No.
current budget?
No.
So it's just a distribution of hours?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I don't see any reason why I would change what's being proposed. This is your proposal, right? So
Yes,
okay.
and also in your packet is the Internal Audit Department Audit Plan Development. So if you want more detail on how these were selected or how we came to it, it's in there.
Fantastic. Thank you for explaining. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hernandez. Anybody else? Sanchez, thank you so much.
Thank you. And thank you for your support as well. It is important, it is helpful.
Thank you. At this time, I will review the February 18th, 2026 agenda item and motions with the superintendent and executive cabinet. This session allows us to ask questions, gather information before we move to formal deliberation and action during the regular meeting. Consent, consider approval of minutes for the, number one, Board of Trustees workshop and regular board meeting January 14, 2026 at 6 p.m. Board of Trustees Superintendent Evaluation Meeting, January 28, 2026, 6 p.m. Number three, Monthly Financials Report for December 2025. Number five, Non-School Day Waiver, Parkland Feeder Pattern. Number five, Low Attendance Waivers for December 15th, 2025. Number six, Low Attendance Waiver Application for December 26, 2025. Number seven, Low Attendance Waiver Application for December 17th, 2025. Number eight, Low Attendance Waiver Application for December 18th, 2025. Number nine, Attendance Waiver Application for December 19th, 2025. Number 10, Low Attendance Day Waiver Application for January 26, 2026. On to pulled consent agenda items, none. And then now to our policy items. Number one, policy item CFB Local Accounting Inventories. Number two, policy EEP Local Instructional Arrangements Lesson Plan. Yes,
I
Ms.
might
Woodruff.
have a question on that one.
Go ahead, Ms. Woodruff.
So this one is a new law, I'm correct about that, where that we have to put lesson plans onto some sort of, yeah, I'm just a little confused what they're asking for here, and if it's by teacher, or by subject, or by how are they expecting this to happen?
Can't hear you.
Uh-oh.
Can you hear me now?
There
Yes.
you go.
Good evening, Board President Bustillos, members of the board, and Dr. De La Torre. Priscilla Mata, Chief Counsel for the district. You are correct, Ms. Woodruff. So these changes that are that you're seeing in your board book for these policy items, with the exception of the first one, come from state legislative changes. This one in particular comes from Senate Bill 12. If you recall, Senate Bill 12 touches all corners of the school district. one of the things it aims to do is kind of open up and provide some more transparency to parents so that they understand what kind of literature and instructional material is being made available to their children. And so I worked closely with Dr. Chacon, and she really led the effort with TIS to ensure that pursuant to this new legal requirement, we made available the instructional materials to our parents. And your question is, what does that consist of? And I'll let Dr. Chacon fill in any gaps here, but it is wide-ranging. I just want to add that in addition to the curriculum and instructional plans, we also had to work with our counseling department to ensure that even their curriculum, their non-negotiables as they call them, were uploaded to our website and made available to parents. But I'll let Dr. Chacon speak to academics.
Good evening, President Bustillos, Ms. Woodruff, Dr. De La Torre. So we actually sent this text out to parents about, I want to say a week ago, where we provided a link to our website. And what the law requires is not so much the lesson plan, teachers' individual lesson plans, but an instructional framework. So for example, in kinder, I'll use kinder because you're familiar, what are you teaching in reading? What are you teaching in math, science, social studies, and what resource are you using? Right, so it's important that parents have the information to know what their kids are required to learn. So in our world, it's the TEKS, right? So what we wanted to do is make it parent-friendly, and we obviously listed the TEKS, but also listed it in the scope and sequence by semester. So that's how we followed. But this includes all subjects, art, PE, JROTC, all CTE courses, every single, basically anything that's scheduled in our master calendar, master schedules. The parents have the right to know what is being taught in those courses and the resources used.
And have we accomplished a lot of this already?
We've accomplished 75% of it. We started with all the core. So all your sciences, your social studies, your math, your RLA. We are working now on CTE, which we're almost done, and a few PE and other courses like that, your non-core classes, that's the next one. But the website is live. The text went out last week to parents, and we shared the information that was required according to Senate Bill 12.
Well, it sounds like a massive endeavor, but it sounds like you're handling it very well.
Our academics teams and our TIS teams quickly put it together, and it was all done in-house.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you. On to number 3, policy EFA local, instructional resources, instructional material. Number 4, policy EHBAF local, special education video audio monitoring. Number 5, policy EIA local, academic achievement, grading process reports to parents. Progress reports to parents, I'm sorry about that. Number 6, policy FA local, parents' rights and responsibilities.
I had a quick question. Number 5 isn't the one on AI?
We're number 6. Policy.
Which policy is the one that refers to the AI tools?
That's correct. Mr. Haggerty, I think you're referring to policy EIA, where based on legislative changes, we were required to update the policy to include academic dishonesty by way of use of AI.
That one.
Or misuse of AI. That's the one.
So that is number 5, right?
I think we're at 6.
Yes, we're on 6.
I have questions on number 5. It just sounded weird because it said
We can go
grading
back to
progress
number,
reports.
we can go back to
instead
number
of-
5. Go ahead, ask your question.
Do we know what tool we're going to be using to detect AI? Because there isn't a good one.
Mr. Haggerty, what was your question? There isn't a what?
Which AI detection tool are we going to use? Do we have one already picked out? Because there's not one that's good. And then on top of that, students who come in with limited English abilities because they already speak a second language. They tend to write in a way that gets flagged in AI detection software. And since we do have a good number of English as a second language students, how are we going to ensure that our kids aren't getting flagged for misusing AI when they're not?
I would not be able to speak to any AI programs that we've approved. I don't know that we've vetted them at this time, but we'll invite Ms. Moy to speak to that.
Thank you, Ms. Moy.
Good evening, members of the board, President Bustillos, Dr. De La Torre. So we actually have two AI filters, web monitors that we currently use. We use Securely and we use Gaggle. They monitor online chat. What I'm happy to report to you all is because of this new legislation, what we've done is we have put some systems in place to secure those chats for our students. So now anytime a student wants to access a large language model chat, for example, like ChatGPT, for our elementary students, it's going to give them a pop-up that will tell them you're being rerouted to securely chat. Remember, AI is not a person, it's not a human. If you're having any mental health concerns, make sure to talk to a counselor or an adult in your school, a trusted adult. It also talks about academic dishonesty, the importance of citing, rules of 80-20 of how to correctly use it. So it's a really neat pop-up that I'd be happy to show you. For our middle school and our secondary, it does the same thing. So it automatically reroutes them with that same pop-up, but it'll reroute them to Gemini, which is also monitored through Securely and our Gaggle system.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Ms. Moy. Any further questions? Yes. Ms. Moy, can you come back? Mr. Rivera?
I was just going to ask you if you could show up those pop-ups, like you said, or is it?
Absolutely. So currently it is only available for our students, so I don't have access to a student account right now that I could show you. I could probably pull it up right now in a second and I can give you the mock-up of what that looks like, or we can set up an appointment to share that pop-up. But it's really neat because it's in student written language that they understand. We have it in English and in Spanish to address your concerns with our ELL learners. So we have it in both languages. And it's automatic. And we also lock the browser, so if they try to get smart and maybe use another browser, it's also locked.
Okay.
So it'll automatically gear them to those.
I'll just set up that appointment. How's that?
Sure, absolutely. I'd be
Thank you.
happy to share those.
Thank you.
And then once it's flagged 25% AI, will an instructor be able to review it to make sure that this is actually probably the student's work, or this is obviously not the student's work? But
The neat tool that we have is that as you know, we are a Google ecosystem. So Google also provides those tools where a teacher or an administrator can run that essay, for example, through that Google tool, and it'll give you a percentage of how much it was used or some suggestions.
But the teacher has the ability to override that, looking at it and saying that the AI is wrong in this case?
Yes.
Which it does a lot.
Right. It will.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank
Ms.
you.
Moy,
Yes.
who flags it first? Is it the teacher or is it the AI?
Give me your question again.
If improper AI use is suspected by a student, who flags it first? Is it the AI or is it the teacher?
Typically, it's the teacher. The teacher does all the grading. We don't have any system currently that we prompt through the AI. That's left more for the state, but I'll let Dr. Chacon share a little bit more about the teacher grading.
So on the Securely system and the Gaggle, the system is always in the back end. I don't know that piece. But like, for example, if the kids are writing a essay and they write something concerning that should be brought to our attention, Gaggle or Securely immediately flag that and send that alert to the teacher and principal. On the grading side, on the academic side, it's the tool that the teachers are using, right? And they look, to Mr. Haggerty's point, they have the ability to say, yeah, no, we agree with AI, or no, we don't agree with AI, and here's how we're going to grade it at their discretion.
So it's complete teacher discretion?
On the grading, yes.
Will we be keeping track of teachers? I'm going to assume that some are going to flag more than others. So,
So what I can tell you is that we've been working with, AI is not new to our district or to our teachers. So we actually use the Google system, like Ms. Moy said, or we also use Magic School. So we're constantly training on AI. You're right, some teachers more than others, right? But what we have, I've seen a huge, I would say, push towards embracing the AI a lot more from your teachers. And using it for several reasons, for efficiency, for grading, especially because the state and just the way of the world is using it to score students. So what I see, for example, in your English PLCs is they grade them first, right? And then they put them in AI to grade them, and they're seeing that a lot of it sometimes is mismatched or for the most part matches, and that's how they make the distinction between them. But the AI is a constant now in our PLCs and in our training. So it's alive and well, and our teachers are embracing those pieces. So to keep track of it, I wouldn't tell you that we have like necessarily a tool to keep track of it, but I can tell you that it's through a lot of training and professional development with our teachers on how to use AI, as well as the student side too. So also on the student side, it's about teaching them, how to be responsible, how to use it, how to cite it now. Apparently there's ways to cite it now, and it's just embracing something that is there, and just teaching our teachers and students on how to coexist with AI together.
And on that note, I
But
was
to
able
your
to...
point, there's no way to guarantee consistency across the district relative to what teachers are going to allow. They're going to want some academic freedom. But that was probably true before AI when they were grading students. You had those teachers that were more favorable. You had teachers that were very strict. We had teachers that thought their job was to see how many students they could fail instead of how many students they can actually help pass. And so you're going to have the human condition, and there really isn't a way to control it centrally from the district. So you do have some inconsistencies in what teacher A is willing to accept in the form of an essay that maybe teacher B would say, you need to go back and you need to actually write that essay, because there are people out there that say AI is a reality, it's a tool, and if that's going to result in a better essay, then so be it. I'd rather see a better essay.
Yeah, I mean, I think I've said before, I'm definitely a proponent of AI. I just want to ensure, my concern is ensuring fairness for students, because I know, not every teacher feels the same way, and they're probably a lot more resistant to AI. Has it happened where a student has been accused of using AI and the student says, no, I'm not, and what recourse do they have, or is that not a case that ever happens, or has not happened yet at least?
Correct. It's not a case that has it raised to this level. So if it is, it's between the student and the teacher, and something is I'm surely worked out, but it has not gotten to this level yet.
Yeah, and I think Dr. De La Torre made a good point too about human discrepancy has always been an issue since education has been here. So that's understandable. But if we can do our best just to try to ensure student fairness and be sure there is recourse should that day ever happen where a student insists that they did not use AI, yet they're being accused of, because we know the software, it's not there yet where we can rely on it to be accurate.
Right.
So.
Yeah, and that's going back to our professional development plan of constantly training both the student and the teacher in the world of AI. And that's something that the district has embraced for, I would say, a few years now. It's not new to our teachers. It's not new to our students, obviously. They use it more than them, but it is learning how to coexist with AI.
Fantastic. That's great to hear. Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
One last question. Do the students have access to the score? Like if they got 23%, then they know they need to go back and change some of it so they can rerun it before they submit it?
Those are different techniques that the teachers are allowed to do, especially now with Magic School, that is tracked. I was able to pull up some quick data and some numbers to share with you just so you can get an idea of what the students have done. In just 1 week before we implemented that pop-up, we had 59,000 chats or chat initiations. We studied those 59,000 chats and conversations. For the most part, the students are not using it for academic dishonesty. For the most part, they're using it for simple Google searches, silly requests, tell me a joke, what is the weather like, who won the last basketball game. So that comes back to our responsible use of AI, right? And that comes back to teaching and how we're doing. So after that, we also had 46,000 deflections, which means we were able to monitor and flag any inappropriate use of AI, and then those were addressed. In the week since we implemented that pop-up, the initiated chats were 19,000 with 17,000 deflections, and then as of this week, we had 16,000 initiated chats with only 1,000 deflections. So that shows that we had less flags, and it's a trend that's going downward, and now those conversations are showing more responsible and more academic style questions and prompting, because now they know we're watching and that we're sending them over to a more responsible use.
That's cool. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, I got it.
I have a question, as actually for Brenda. I know before AI, we had students submitting work that were copyright infringement. And a lot of teachers got to know what their students could do and couldn't, and their work that, this isn't in your work, where did you get this? And so I think this is just another level with AI where the teachers are starting to recognize the level of writing, wherever it is, that, okay, I know this student can do this, but not this well. So what kind of techniques did we use before AI to kind of find these violations, copyright violations?
I mean, that's a great question. Back to Dr. Soto's point, it's kind of always existed. It's just a different level now that it's an AI. So prior to that, and I mean, our teachers just use just knowing their kids, and they know them. And you're right. When somebody submits something through AI, you can say, oh, what happened there, right? And that goes for anyone. So a lot of credit is given to our teachers that they do know their kids, and they definitely know what they're capable and not capable. Also, something monitored versus a cold write or something that's turned in over time is very different. So all of those techniques and all of those things that the teachers have always used is now just transferring to an AI world where it's just a little faster and available to everybody at their fingertips. But all of that is just making sure, again, learning how to coexist with it. But your English teachers have always struggled with plagiarism and citing and all of that good stuff. It's just at a different level now.
But now it's elevated to the other core subjects, such as history, government, others. And except some of maybe that like math or even science, if you have to do biology report or something.
It is everywhere. It is definitely, AI has tapped into every subject. There's not a subject that I can tell you the kids don't use it for.
So are we getting any training for these teachers just to discern, look at this, look at this?
Yes, that's constantly what we're doing. So that's, again, going back to our Magic School, our Google ecosystem, the writing. It started a lot in the writing, right, and how to just look at a piece of writing, especially because everybody uses artificial intelligence to score the writings at any test now, right? So the human scoring is very minimal. But now that AI is also used in, for drawings, for graphics, for projects, just in everything.
Right.
So yes, the training that your instructional technologist, AI is constantly at the forefront now of our PLCs. Some embrace it more than others, but I will also say that it has also helped with efficiency, right? So efficiency on the special ed side on how to write individual education plans, efficiency for their lesson plans. I mean, there's a lot of good and bad that comes with AI, and the teachers choose and pick their pieces that go with them, with their teaching styles, as well as the students.
Yeah, I think it's just something that we are learning as we go and making some decisions, whether they're right or wrong, but we're struggling with it. But I think in 10 years from now, that's not going to be an issue anymore. It's going to be a totally different platform back that we're going to have to deal with because of AI, whatever it develops in 10 years from now.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. On to number 6. We good? Okay, yes, okay. Okay, on to number 6, policy FA local, parent rights and responsibility. Number 7, policy FEF local, attendance release time. Number 8, policy FFAC local, wellness and health services, medical treatment. Number 9, policy FFB local, students welfare crisis interventions. Number 10, policy FFF local, student welfare, student safety. Number 11, policy FFG local, student welfare, child abuse and neglect. Number 12, policy FO local, student discipline. Number 13, policy GF local, public complaints. Number 14, policy GKA local, community relationships conduct on school premises.
I had a question on that one.
Mr. Haggerty?
This one is the weapons one where they made it to where more people are allowed to bring weapons onto the premises, at least in the parking lots?
Yes, so there was, Mr. Haggerty, there was a bill introduced that made it across the finish line in the legislature that now says we have to respect those who carry under another state's license. And so if they come into Texas state boundaries, we must recognize them as carrying lawfully a concealed handgun. Now, that doesn't say you can come into a school with a handgun. All of the federal legal prohibitions still stand. But what it says is we cannot treat them differently simply because they were licensed in a different state. Because as you know, Texas is a constitutional carry. You don't have to get licensed anymore to carry a handgun. And so this is just clarification, if you will, to ensure that no one is treated differently if they're coming in from a different state with a handgun license.
It looks like Senate Bill 12 has gone out of its way to treat people differently, except for this. Can we pull that one, please, for a separate vote?
And this is, for clarity, this is policy GKA local. Number 14?
Number 14, yes, ma'am.
And again, just because it's state law doesn't mean we have to have a policy that says the same thing, right? We have to adhere to state law, but we don't have to have something in the policy book in a local policy that says, we're going to do this.
So you should, because remember that your local policies, together with your legal policies, are restatements of the law. And local in particular is used, and I can attest to this, is used to train our staff, our campuses, and ensure compliance. So without policy, we have, we don't have the authority under the school district to point to.
What I'm saying is it doesn't need to be there. We don't have, teachers shouldn't run red lights on their time off. Even though that's a state law, you shouldn't run red lights. We don't have that in our policy.
Yeah, I think Mr. Safi would agree with me. Every Texas school district has a policy manual. Like every Fortune 500 company has a handbook. So in order to meet compliance with state law, you have to spell it out for folks. You have to be able to tell your employees, we trained you. It's in policy, it's in handbook, and we alerted you. We gave you fair notice, if you will. Before you punish someone, before you take any adverse action, the first question should be, did they know it was wrong, right? And policies is a way to alert district employees to what is expected of them. So I would respectfully disagree that local policy is not required or recommended.
So we have district policy to make sure educators understand we need to discriminate against certain populations of the student group. But we better not discriminate against somebody from out of state who brings a weapon onto school grounds.
I'm not sure if that's a question or a rhetorical one, but like I said, whatever the state law is, whatever is dictated from Austin,
But every state law doesn't need to be in our policy manual, is what I was saying.
not every state law, but every school law must be in your policy manual. Every Texas school law is. And that's why when you go to your policy manual, you'll see that alpha, it is extensive. So we're talking about transportation rules under DOL. We're talking about child nutrition.
And since it came from the state, why not put it in legal? Why do we need to put it in local?
Because you can, in order to expand on a legal requirement, especially when it gives school district officials discretion to go one way or another or become creative. In some cases, Ysleta is different from El Paso ISD in the way that it implements these laws.
So then what
Local-
discretion are we taking as
Well-
far as
Well, if I could
GKA
finish,
local?
Mr. Haggerty, local policy is the best vehicle for you to dictate where you want to make distinctions in order to meet district needs. Not El Paso ISD's needs, but Ysleta ISD's needs. And so local policies really plays an important role in that, to help distinguish the district where it needs it, based on student needs, based on staff needs, et cetera.
So by adopting this policy and taking what you said with being able to manipulate that policy, we can say, yes, we agree with the stupid law, but you have to park in the farthest parking space from campus. Only in that space if you have a weapon and you're from out of state with an out-of-state weapon license. And if that parking spot's taken, then go park somewhere in the street.
Possibly. And that depends on whether whether the statute is silent on what the specific thing you want to do is. So it takes a lot of slow gear research and review to put local policies together, because you want to make sure I'm not about to propose something to you all to adopt that's going to conflict with other federal or state laws, or maybe a regulation, right, under the Texas Administrative Code. So in theory, yes, that's where you can make a distinction. Now, what kind of distinctions? That depends on, again, the statute.
And again, why can't we just put straight from the state, which is what this sounds like, into legal, and then have a local policy that then further defines what we want you to do in regards to that state law?
So you could in theory. I don't know, I'm not sure if that's what if that's where you're going with
Yes.
this policy.
So we do not have to put this into a local. If it isn't approved, we're not breaking any laws, we're still complying. We can put what the state said into legal, knowing that we can't do anything about legal, but we can do stuff about local.
That's not necessarily true. And Mr. Safi can chime in, but a lot of laws that affect public school districts, if you read the bill itself, it actually requires adoption of policies. Because remember, just like any other governmental board of governance, you have to be able to adopt and operate in accordance with the laws and regulations of the state.
So we put them in legal.
And the best way to show it is through your legal and local policies for school districts. There's fundamental differences between legal and local. Again, local is where you can exercise discretion, if and when the law gives it to you. Legal this is your legal framework. This is the lay of the land, right? This is the legal landscape that you're swimming in. And so that, more than local, is a recitation of the statute, right? The U.S. Constitution, the Texas Education Code, et cetera.
And Mr. Safi, maybe you can shed light. How is that different from what I said?
Coming back to the policy. The policy currently provides, in accordance,
Mr. Safi, I can't
All right,
hear you.
let me try. The policy currently prohibits possession of a firearm anywhere on school grounds, subject to a state mandated exception that if it's locked, out of view, in a vehicle, then it's okay. All right, that's a decision, a policy decision that's been made by the legislature. That is that's the one exception. There has been really a nationwide effort to have states that have concealed carry license programs adopt what's referred to as reciprocity laws. And the effect of that is a concealed handgun holder in Texas can travel to another state that has a reciprocity law.
It works the same way as a driver's license. But we don't have in policy in local that to park on our school grounds, you have to have a driver's license, whether it's from Texas or from any other state. So why do we have to have a policy that says the same thing but about a weapon?
Well, because...
And have it put into local as opposed to having it in legal, since we don't have any say over what goes in legal, but we do have say what goes in local.
Well, if you want to take out of local the prohibition against possession of a firearm, because the general rule in your local is it's a prohibition. It's a prohibition. You can't have one. But there is an exception in accordance with state, and the state says you have to have this exception, that someone can keep it out of view, locked in their vehicle. And so you have the prohibition in your local policy. Then, in accordance with the state mandate, you have the exception. And what the state has now said, in accordance with the reciprocity, is that, okay, if the person's from out of state and they have a license issued in their state, then they can keep it in their vehicle, locked up, out of view. And so what it's trying to do, what the state's trying to do, is promote reciprocity, ultimately, at least partially, for the benefit of Texas residents who are legally licensed in Texas and want to go into New Mexico, want to just drive into New Mexico to go hunting or whatever. And if New Mexico has a reciprocity law, then they're okay.
I understand the words that are written. What I'm saying is, why does it need to go
Mr.
into
Hager, you
local?
want to go ahead and pull this item and make an amendment on it?
Sure.
Thank you.
I got to recap this conversation. My understanding is that Trustee Haggerty is asking for us to put this in legal instead of policy, and that your recommendation, we can, but your recommendation is that we don't.
No.
We cannot at all. We don't even have that option.
So let me clarify. Legal policy never comes to the board for adoption. And that's because legal is a recitation of law. You can't change that, right? It is what it is. The '89 session happened and it brought down all these different changes, right? You can't touch legal. Local policy is where it spells out in more detail what those changes look like, and to some degree, how those changes will be implemented here at Ysleta ISD. Now, there's also administrative regulations. Those don't come to the board, but that's the day-to-day checklists, forms that we use for parents, for students, that sort of thing.
So I just want to get to the point. We cannot put it under legal. That's not even an option. And if we do not
Correct.
adopt these policies tonight, what consequence does this district face from the state of Texas?
So it depends on the policy. It depends on whether the policy is connected to a statute that within the bill told us procedurally, your Board of Trustees must adopt this by such and such date. And they typically do. They'll tell us within 60 days of the effective date of this law, your Board of Trustees must adopt a policy.
Can they sue us or pull funding by not adopting these policies?
So TEI, and Mr. Safi can correct me if I'm wrong, but special investigations by TEA, especially the TEA division that investigates governance, can and will investigate a district if they don't have the policies in place that are required under state law. We also have, every few years, an audit from the state. It is a laundry list of everything we're required to have, and policy is one of them, sir. I'm happy to show you that checklist where the auditors, ask.
I appreciate the explanation, but so.
No, there are
so
consequences.
So they investigate, and it's like, yes, this board did not adopt the policies that they were supposed to do. Then what happens?
Corrective action plan.
Which is?
We call it a CAP. So that's when the state says, Ysleta, you failed. You didn't adopt the policies required of you. We didn't find them. You didn't have a good reason for it. And so we're now going to monitor you until you do it. You're going to have 30 days to adopt a policy. This just happened at Northeast ISD, I believe. TEA came in, said, you don't have the right policy. You have 30 days to do it. School board decided not to. TEA.
So we already have a case study on, essentially, right, that we know what happens?
There are consequences. And again, it depends on the policy itself. But recall that you have a policy manual.
I mean, I'll be honest, the consequences seem, I mean, they're going to watch us for 30 days, and if we're like, okay, watch us, and we're not going to adopt a policy, then
Yep.
what? I want to get to the, like, what is the real consequence at the very end if we
Remember
don't
that-
adopt this policy?
So remember that TEA, upon a finding of a violation, gives you that first chance to make it right. If you don't make it right, now you're looking at a board of managers, right? Now you're looking at conservators.
Okay, that's what I was looking for. This
yeah,
board can be
that's a
taken
real
over. That was
possibility.
the answer I was looking for.
That's
If
a
we do
real
not adopt this
possibility.
policy, we risk being taken over by
That's-
TEA.
Yes, sir, that's a real
Okay,
possibility.
thank
And
you.
sure, absolutely.
Moving on to the action items. Number 1, 2026 Internal Auditor Annual Plan. Number 2, resolution regarding the period of prayer and reading of the Bible under Senate Bill 11. Number 3, board appointment to ISD School Safety and Security Committee. I just did want to, I did want to say something about that, Mr. Rivera. I know you know about this. You're definitely going to be part of this for us. I think you'll bring so much information and experience to this, to our committee. So I'm glad to have you on board on that.
Definitely.
And
I want to wish.
Trustee Woodruff is the chair, so
Oh, even more so.
thank you.
Thank you.
And then in closed session, discussion of district-wide intruder detection audit report findings. Consent. Let's see, yeah. The order of the agenda has been approved. May I have an electronic motion on the remaining consent agenda items listed on this agenda recommended by administration?
Mr. President, I move that we approve the consent agenda items listed on this agenda as recommended by the administration.
Have a motion by Ms. Woodruff and a second by Trustee Hernandez. Please cast all your votes. All votes have been cast. Results are in. 7 in favor, none opposed. Policy items. The order agenda has been approved. Pulled policy items will be taken under consideration under Section 10, pulled policy items.
We pulled one, didn't we not? Did you?
Ms.
You
Radley,
pulled
you wanna
one.
pull? Go ahead. It was 14. Do you want to make your amendment?
Okay, you did pull it out then?
Yes.
Is there any consequence of the district being looked at?
We're going to vote.
No, Mr. Rivera, I think procedurally what we'll do is we'll take up in one motion the policy items for approval, and then we'll come back separately for a motion, if any, on GKA.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
You want to make your,
Well, first we need to do this, approve the.
Oh, okay.
amendment. Yeah.
okay, sorry.
So, we've already got a motion up there by Cruz.
Yes, okay. Well, motion by trustee Ochoa.
I move to approve the remaining policy agenda items, as listed on the agenda and recommended by TASB Updates 126 and Ysleta language as recommended by administration.
I have a second by trustee Hernandez. Please cast your votes. All votes have been cast. Results are in, 7 in favor, none opposed.
So now you're going to call for a vote on this one, a motion on this one.
May I have a motion on policy GKA, local community relations conducted on school premises? I have a, no, this is a pulled item, so now we're voting on how it's going to go. I have a motion by trustee Ochoa and a second by Connie Woodruff.
I move to approve the revisions to policy GKA local as recommended by TASB in its policy update number 126.
Waiting on Mr. Rivera for your vote. All votes have been cast. We have, the results are in, 6 in favor, none opposed.
One opposed.
One opposed, I'm sorry. Okay.
Now we go to the agenda items. 10. Now we're going to do each one separately.
And that's why I have Ms. Woodruff here to help me out. Okay, action items after, no. Shoot, I did. No, this is not it. That's a closed session. There it is, okay. On to our action items. 2026 internal auditor annual plan. May I have an electronic motion? I have a motion by trustee Hernandez.
Mr. President, I move to approve the 2026 audit plan as presented by the internal auditor.
I have a second by Ms. Woodruff. Please cast all your electronic votes. All votes have been cast. Results are in, 7 in favor, none opposed. On to number 2. Resolution regarding a period of prayer on reading of the Bible under Senate Bill 11. May I have electronic motion?
I have a question on this one. Who decided where the motion is going to be to decline the resolution for a designated period of prayer of reading a Bible or other religious texts? So we'll go ahead and we're going to say, yes, bring your guns, but don't bring your Bible or your other religious texts, and we're not going to give you time to read it?
The motion language, Mr. Haggerty, reflects the resolution in your board packet. And I actually want to propose a motion that is somewhat more closer to the statutory language that's required for your consideration tonight. So if I may propose that when the board is ready for a proposed motion, I will do so.
But is that correct, that we are saying you do not have, we're not allowing for you to have time to read any religious materials?
That's
We
incorrect.
can't propose it, we already,
That's incorrect. If you take a look at the resolution that's in your board packet, many districts across the state, you might have read in the Houston Chronicle today, for example, are declining to adopt this new policy. Why? Because the law stemming from the Constitution already allows both staff and students to pray on their own time, private, personal prayer, even if it happens in the classroom or on the football field, like we saw in that big landmark case that went to the Supreme Court, the head football coach that was praying on the field. So long as you're not coercing anyone else to engage in that religion, you're free to do so.
Okay.
That is a freedom of expression. So please let me know when you're ready for a proposed motion. I'd like that in the record.
We already have a motion on the table.
We do,
We
but
just-
we can revote after we vote, finish this vote, right? Then somebody can call for a revote on this?
So you have an electronic motion, is that what I'm
Yes,
hearing?
I made the electronic motion, but before we vote, can we hear what you're proposing? And
Sure.
then we'll see if we want to
Okay.
make that motion.
Sure. Okay, so the proposed motion for the board tonight, as required by Senate Bill 11, is the following. A motion reflecting that the Board of Trustees of the Ysleta Independent School District has considered adopting a policy requiring every campus of the district to provide a period of prayer and reading of the Bible or other religious text as provided by Section 25.0823 of the Texas Education Code, and approval and adoption of a resolution declining to designate a period for prayer and reading of the Bible or other religious texts during the school day made optional under Senate Bill 11 from the 89th legislative session. That is the proposed motion.
But
We have to
a
finish.
procedural question would be, we already have a motion and a second that's been set, so wouldn't this motion and second, wouldn't this vote have to fail in order to then?
I believe we still have the opportunity to amend to the current motion, right, under Robert Rules of Order?
Yes, so you can motion for a friendly amendment to reflect the proposed motion that I recited.
so what happens to this one that's on there right now?
We've already voted.
We've already voted. We already have somebody that moved it. We have a second and 2 votes on it.
Let me ask this, because maybe we don't adopt what you're recommending. What's the difference really in practice? Why do we have to do, or why are you recommending that we adopt what's already recommended here?
Because Senate Bill 11 specifically requires that by March 1, this board consider that statutory language that I read out loud.
Aren't we doing it right now?
That's what we're doing, aren't we?
You're adopting the resolution itself that says you're declining to do that, but I wanted to make
We
it.
have to consider to decline. There's no way to decline it without considering it. So taking this action means that we considered it. So I don't,
Agreed.
in my opinion, I don't see a reason to.
The distinction is that the language is in the motion, and the language in the resolution does not follow verbatim the statute, because the language in the resolution adds the word decline. So I want to make sure that this board is on good legal footing. That is it. I'm not trying to challenge the motion or the votes that have been made. I am legally advising you what I would propose the motion to be for this item. So it is up to the board.
So then what happens now? We already have a mover, we have a second, and we have a third, and looks like a fourth.
I stand by my motion to approve and adopt resolution declining to designate a period for prayer and reading a Bible or other religious text during the school day, made optional under Senate Bill 11.
So then that language isn't there. The word decline was made in the motion.
That's right.
We already voted on the first motion, no?
Mr. Rivera?
Board members.
He wants to keep it as
Ms.
is.
Ms. Mata, thank you. I'm kind of caught between the cross here because I didn't participate in those conversations when the board was considering it.
That was right now.
Oh, this is just now?
This
Okay,
is
I
the
thought
first
you had
time.
discussed it in March
Maybe we go back.
1st. I'm sorry. Okay, I stand corrected then. I listened to it. I thought they had made a decision without, without my.
Yeah, and I think there's some confusion. So if there's any
So if we-
will, if I can finish, if there's any will or interest, Mr. President, to revisit the item, I think Mr. Safi would gladly guide the board on next steps. But it sounds like so far, the consideration and the discussion already happened on this item. It happened rather quickly, Mr. Rivera. You'll get accustomed to it. And so additionally, a motion was made, votes were taken, and if there's any will to revisit the item, I believe we're going to need a majority vote.
But you stated we needed to revisit the item to
It has
make
to
sure
be
we
by
include the word
the
decline.
person that made the
And
motion.
trustee Hernandez used the word decline in his original motion.
Yeah, if you use decline already like you wanted, can we move it? It's already there.
Has the vote counting ended and has the result been announced?
I just need Dwyer.
No.
We can't hear you.
Has everyone voted and has
Everybody but two.
so the voting is not completed as of yet?
No.
Well then, since the voting has not been completed and no result has been announced, I think if you wanted to, you could amend the motion.
We just did.
Or you could complete the voting, and if the motion passes, there could be a motion to reconsider. And then, if the motion for reconsider passes, then the board could reconsider. I think it's important that everyone understand exactly what it is that Ms. Mata is proposing so that the board can make, a fully informed decision whether it wants to stay with the motion where the voting has started but has not yet been completed, or whether it actually wants to, instead of the motion that the board's voting on, instead adopt the revised motion being recommended by Ms. Mata.
Okay, so I guess we can go with it, and then we can
Then we can reconsider.
yes.
Complete the voting.
So,
Okay.
I already read my motion.
Right.
Do you want me to read it again, or?
No,
No,
one
we have
question
to, we have to
before.
let it run through, and then we'll,
I have one question.
go ahead.
He says to revisit that motion, it has to be a unanimous 7-0
No.
to revisit it?
It's a majority.
No, that would be, the motion and second to reconsider would have to be made by persons that voted in favor of the motion. First of all, you have to have a motion that passes. All right. If the motion passes, then it can be reconsidered on a motion and second by trustees that voted in favor of the motion, and then it has to pass by a majority vote. At that point, the board can reconsider what it previously approved.
Let's go ahead and finish the vote, and then we'll reconsider. I have two more votes, or one more vote, Mr. Rivera. All votes have been cast. We have, results are in 7 approved, none opposed.
Mr. President, I make a motion to reconsider this vote,
Okay,
this item.
this item.
Need
No.
a second.
So
Can I was
Somebody has a second.
second.
I second.
what language is going to be introduced that wasn't introduced with Mr. Hernandez's motion?
Okay, board members, so I'm going to propose the motion for the record for your consideration.
But ma'am, what language is it that you're looking to introduce that wasn't already,
This,
That's what I'm about
Included.
to read, Mr.
you're
Haggerty.
you're reading just that part?
I'm reading the full entire
reading the
motion
whole
that's
thing.
being proposed.
So he made a motion, and your argument against it was, you're missing, we need to have the words decline.
Okay,
in
so,
it.
so the
But he had
first,
that in his motion.
so what I'm adding on is the following, okay? It's a motion, okay, a motion to take record that the Board of Trustees of the Ysleta Independent School District has considered adopting a policy requiring every campus of the district to provide a period of prayer and reading of the Bible or other religious text as provided by Section 25.0823 of the Texas Education Code.
So is that
That's
what you
the
want to
section
add, the
I'm-
Texas Education Code?
That's the section that I'm adding on, what I just read. And then that's going to follow the motion within the agenda, the recommended motion that you see on the agenda.
How is that different, other than you threw in the Texas Education Code?
Okay, so I'm going to say this again. Senate Bill 11 requires verbatim language in what the board considers. This is not typical of every bill, but in this bill, and I'm happy to share the bill with you, Mr. Haggerty, in quotations, it says the board must consider the following, a resolution that adopts the following. That's exactly what I'm reading into the record right now, because I want to make sure that that is captured and we don't get dinged on an audit for not having done precisely what the Senate bill required of this board. Again, I'm acting as a legal advisor. I'm not trying to,
I understand, but
steer you in the wrong direction. This
if
is
it's-
purely legal advice in the interest of the organization.
if it's the section of the Texas Education Code that needs to be in there, it's in the resolution twice.
No, so the resolution, if you look at the last paragraph, declines to adopt the policy. What the Senate Bill 11 wants to know is whether the board considered adopting the policy. And it may be parsing of words, but the Senate bill requires precisely what I read into the record, as opposed to what the resolution says, which is you're declining to adopt the policy. So we're just putting for the record your consideration of adopting the policy.
Ms. Mata, in practice, will anything be different from what the original motion that I made, from what you're saying? Bottom line, we're not designating any time for prayer or anything religious related, right?
Correct. For practical
So
purposes,
it's
there will be
exactly
no
the same.
distinction. But remember, I'm thinking of it from
I
a
know.
legal standpoint, so that's
But for me,
different.
the important part is what's going to actually happen in practice.
I understand
In practice,
that.
it's exactly the same.
I understand that.
So
But I'm thinking
I would make a
of it
motion
from-
to
Well,
approve.
we still need to do the reconsider. We only have, right now, we have a motion by Ms. Woodruff.
Oh, you made the motion. I'm
And
sorry.
Dwyer.
I didn't know the motion was already made.
And then, and the second by Mr. Dwyer. So we need to get the reconsider first.
So first, now we just need to get the vote on whether we're going to reconsider this.
Yes. So we already have a motion by Ms. Woodruff and then a second by Mr. Dwyer.
So now just
So go ahead.
hold the board.
We can electronically vote on
We can do it?
that. I have
Okay.
it on there right now.
Okay, go ahead and move.
Got the mover.
You got the second? And then we go from there. So this is to reconsider? Okay. All votes have been cast. The results are in, 5 in favor and 2 opposed. So now we go to the resolution, right?
I'd like to, Mr. President, I would like to make the motion to approve the policy item as recommended by Ms. Mata.
Go ahead and move.
I'm making the motion to approve the policy item as recommended by Council Ms. Mata, as read by her.
Need a second? A motion by Trustee Hernandez. A second by Trustee Dwyer. All votes have been cast. Results are in, 6 in favor, 1 opposed. Moving on to number 3. Board appointed to YSD School Safety and Security Committee. May I have an electronic motion? A motion by Mr. Dwyer.
I move to appoint District 7 Trustee Henry Rivera to serve as a board member on the YISD School Safety and Security Committee.
Have a second by Ms. Woodruff. Please cast your electronic votes. All votes are in. Results are 7 in favor, none opposed. The Board of Trustees has determined that a closed meeting of the Board of Trustees is required to discuss the items set forth in the posted agenda item for this date. Such closed meeting is authorized by the Texas Open Meetings Act, Texas Government Code Section 551.001, including but not limited to the section of the purpose covered by the following section of the Texas Government Code: 551.071, 72, 73, 74, 76, 82, 127, 821, 83, and 84. Should any final actions, decisions, or votes be required with regard to the matter considered in a closed session, the final action, decision, or vote shall be in the open meetings or at the subsequent public meeting with notice. The board will now go into the closed session in the Rio Grande Room at 8:22. Discussion for district-wide intruder detection audit report findings. at 8:43. I consider approval of discussion wide intruder detection audit report findings. May I have a motion? I have a motion by Trustee Woodruff.
Mr. President, I move to approve the district-wide intruder detection audit report findings as discussed in closed session.
I have a second by Mr. Rivera. Please cast your votes. All votes have been cast. Results are in. 7 in favor, none opposed. May I have a motion to adjourn? So moved. Thank you. Thank you,
Time.
Trustee Rivera.
The time is
He doesn't know that's your
8:44.
life? Henry, that's,
I'm
that-
joking. It's fine. It's yours now. You do it. You do that.